Well, welcome, my friends, to the show that never ends. And well, it has, hasn't it? It has ended. It's the end. Life as we know it is gone. Now, let's make this clear from the beginning where I stand. Crap. Okay, I think that sums it up.
Shall I?
What do
I'll
I
tell
think
the
about Matt
people.
Bloomfield in charge of Wycombe.
I'll tell the people what you said to me was because obviously people move on in terms of where they live. You said no. You said I'm willing to leave Wycombe now.
Yeah,
as in living in Wycombe. You said you were willing to leave.
Yeah,
you weren't fussed anymore.
Prepared to move on now. I've supported Wycombe for 60 years. 53.
And Gareth Ainsworth is in charge of 10 of those. So
yeah, and the rest was, well, apart from when Brian Lee run it and Martin O'Neill, the rest of it was tough going, and we're back in the tough going, and the chances of getting a good manager again before I die is working on that theory is pretty remote, and we're certainly not starting with a good one. Now, how do we back that up? Well, let's just say he's got about as much charisma as my little toe. No, that's not fair. My little toe has life. Now, that's very harsh, and people might start thinking, this is my opinion, all right? Oh, no, fair enough. Mr. Wycombe, my what's it? He is not Mr. Wycombe. Wycombe has transport going up and down at 30 mile an hour. He does not move at 30 mile an hour. Have you seen the interview after? No, well, let's start with Colchester lost, Wycombe lost, and QPR lost on Saturday. Oh, well, that's made a big difference, hasn't it? The only difference is Wycombe lost.
Yeah.
No improvement anywhere else. I have to say that there was a comment from a Colchester fan who said, thank goodness we've got rid of him.
He won manager of the month last month, didn't he?
Yeah, we know what that means. And also, there was a QPR fan who wrote, we don't want that cheating bastard. So
there was more than one. All
round, I think this is not been, I think it's been a sad, sad week. I'll just make, where did I write it? I wrote it down somewhere. Can't see it on there. Oh, there. Matt Bloomfield, his record as manager for Colchester. Remember, man of the month and all that. Games in charge 28. Won 9, drew 6, lost 13. That's a win rate of 32. That's sacking potential. Okay. That is 33 is what we can do with knowing nothing about football. You got to do better than 33 to beat the average crap. And he got 32. He's taken them from the bottom. Yeah. But he ain't going to take them any further. 32% win rate. 28 games, he lost half of them.
The thing is that me and you both know, and everyone watching at home knows, is that Ainsworth evidently has told the Kuhigs or whoever makes the decision about the new manager who his manager successor will be, and he's obviously said that Bloomfield. Oh, of course, and he's obviously made
Bloomfield's paid Ainsworth how much?
Well, who knows, but it's quite evident that Ainsworth had an influence in Bloomfield being the next manager. And I don't think Ainsworth may well have said that thinking it was going to be so soon. It is. He's
28 games. Now, you can say Ainsworth wasn't a manager for anybody before he came to Wycombe, but he played under lots of managers, saw lots of ways teams are run, saw lots of different styles of football. And he has only recently started playing lots of different styles of football because until recently he had no choice.
Yeah.
But now he has. But Bloomfield only ever saw him play one style of football, has only been a manager of one team for 28 games and knows bugger all. Does he?
I think you are judging him very harshly going off of one game in charge for us. I have to say, you may well be proven right.
I judged him before that game.
I know.
I'd already made my mind up.
I'm not saying you're going to be wrong. I don't think he will be as successful as Ainsworth was for us.
Got lots of reasons to be right.
I'm sure you do. However, there's also lots of reasons that Man City should win every trophy every year, but they don't. It's quite set in stone. It's not quite.
Have you seen the interview with him afterwards?
No.
He doesn't get he won't get anybody running for him. Well, it was sort of like this, really. For God's sake, give him a kick.
He probably would, the players he has at the moment, just because they obviously know him. But yes, players in the future, he may well struggle. I think it's got to be less about it being Bloomfield, who is our manager. We're entering kind of a new era where we're going to have multiple again. And we've kind of got to get used to that.
Yeah, year and a half.
We've got to get used to judging managers at the right time and making sure they come and go at the right time so that we can keep kind of moving forwards.
We're back on the roundabout, aren't we?
Linear. Yeah.
We're back on the roundabout. And in fact, so is Ainsworth on the roundabout.
Yeah.
In the time that he was Wycombe manager, QPR have got through 8 managers.
Yeah.
So why did he move? Is he now well off and has chosen to hop on that roundabout, knowing he probably won't last 2 years? Well, 2 years if he does well, in fact.
I think he obviously believes in himself and there's no reason why he shouldn't. However, even if QPR are in the bottom 12 next season of the Championship, assuming they stay in it, there will come a 5-6 game period in which they will not win a game and he will be under serious pressure and he could well get sacked from it. That is the problem he now has, is that he cannot go 6 games without a win. Otherwise, he's in serious trouble. I think he knows that. I think he has definitely been through those kind of patches for Wycombe before, and because of kind of his success early on, he was kind of given the benefit of the doubt, and the longevity has kept him here for a long time, and also getting in the Championship, which is something we've never done before. So,
the interesting thing is that Ainsworth's comment about, love to be playing in the same league as Wycombe. I think there's more chance he'll be playing in Division 1 with QPR than there is a Wycombe playing in the Championship, to be perfectly blunt now. I think that's blown Wycombe in the playoffs.
You say that, I mean, you're probably right, but football's such a weird game. I'm thinking of... obviously, you've probably watched highlights. Hanlon's chance from like 12 yards out where he blazes it very, very high and wide.
Yeah.
It's like, if that goes in and we get momentum and we somehow win the game against Shrewsbury, then we say something completely different. But that didn't happen. And so football's a game that changes on very minute details, unfortunately. But will we kind of put those minute details away? I'm not sure we will.
Oh dear.
I
just feel like that's it.
It's like you've lost your second dad, isn't it?
Yeah. It's
or your brother in your case.
Yeah, my younger brother. Yeah. The trouble is, he was our identity. He was Wycombe's identity. He built that identity that we've had for all these years. We didn't have it before that.
No.
It's gone
No, not
now.
really.
We're just another football team.
And you'll find that the kind of type of player that comes into the club will be a heck of a lot different as well. I'm thinking like the name that's for some reason sprung to mind was, do you remember Dean Morgan? He was up front and he was a bit of a knobhead. Like those types of players that we haven't had in an awfully long time will start like coming back into the club. Because I mean, all the players that we have now, I can't say there's one I dislike or anything. Like I really like all of them, and I really like the way they play for our team. That won't happen now. We'll become a little bit. It's kind of like Chelsea. No one knows who plays for Chelsea anyway, but like it's not like there's a fan player connection there, and that will be lost because we now have various managers and various players.
So you don't think he's going to last very long, do you?
Who Bloomfield?
Yeah.
I think he'll be given the benefit of the doubt because he'll be given until the end. He'll be given to the end of next season. If next season we come 15th and below, I think he'll be in trouble.
Yeah. Because that does mean we've gone down, doesn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
If he doesn't finish in the top half next season, it means we've got worse.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we will, unfortunately.
So do I.
I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt for now because obviously he's literally just come in and had one game. But there's not a lot to suggest that he will improve us at all.
I don't see how they can even think he will. That's what I don't get. I mean, you can say, well, he knows Wycombe. No, he doesn't.
Well, I think he does. I think that's a little bit of a harsh comment. I think
he knows one style of football.
Well, we don't know that. I don't think we know that yet. We can tell after 5 games what it will be like.
After 5 games.
5 games, then you can judge him.
I must keep my phone away from my phone. Last week, we had lots of buzzing on this.
We had a lot, yeah.
And I don't know whether that was you or me.
I think it's normally to do with your electronics and around your computer.
Right. Well, I'm going to keep everything away this time. Let's have a look at who Wycombe have in their next 5 games. Okay. So, having just lost to Shrewsbury, first game we've lost for 5, just might add. We're at home to Exeter next Saturday. Disappointing. I'm going to miss that.
Oh, yeah.
I'm 60 next Saturday. And when I suggested to your mother that what do you want to do? Well, I'll go and watch Wycombe play Exeter. That didn't go down too well. And the second choice was a party, and I gave that a quick sort of no thank you. So we're actually going to Stratford upon Avon to go and see a Shakespeare play, aren't we, Kieran?
Yes. I don't know why we didn't get you a box at Wycombe or something.
A box at Wycombe.
Yeah, I'm not sure the box would have been particularly brilliant. However, we probably should have done that.
Oh, yeah, well. Yeah. But yeah, with my name on the screen, yes.
Oh, happy absolutely.
Birthday.
Love from Kieran, Nathan, and Kay.
And then it's Fleetwood, and we're at home to Fleetwood. And then we're away at Burton and away at Bristol Rovers. And the 5th game then, which be his 6th, we're at home to Barnsley. Now, I think that covers the lot, doesn't it? Top, middle and bottom.
Yeah, home it's more middle and bottom, isn't it? Yeah.
And that's going to tell us exactly what he can do as a manager.
I think in those next games, he can afford one loss in that.
He's got
doesn't
March.
doesn't doesn't it doesn't matter where, but he needs 3 wins at least and a loss. If he does that, then I'll be content for now.
He
But
ain't going to get that, is he? 2 wins
why
and
not?
a draw.
Well, Alvin. So his first 6 games, he needs 3 wins, 2 draws, and a loss. 3 wins, 1 draw, and 2 losses. That's what I'll allow him. He needs 10 points.
Got to beat Exeter. Got to beat Fleetwood.
Yeah.
Port Vale
should get at least a draw.
Should get a point. Barnsley is the one you can lose.
You can afford
the one we want to win.
Of course, yeah.
That's a 6-pointer. And the sad thing was, Derby got battered this week when we lost. That was our chance to catch them up in parts in the go for number 6. That was we could have gained 3 points on Derby, instead of which we lost to Shrewsbury. I know Shrewsbury are near us as well, and it was away. And Matt Bloomfield said, well, the ref should have given us a penalty. Oh, God, I hope we don't have a manager that does that. Yeah, so anything to say about the game other than what a miss by Hanlon?
What a miss by Hanlon. Their 2 goals were okay, I think. They weren't brilliant. Like, you probably should be able to do something about them.
Always can.
You always can, yeah. To be fair, in terms of like our start to 2023, it hasn't been great, has it? We've lost your starting centre back, your supposed star player, and your manager. Like, there's a complete change in there. And so I do think we'll have quite a rocky period for a little while. Other than stuff in the game, I have no idea.
The rest of the league, which you're bored with, you're not interested in.
Well, I'm interested in one thing in terms of your man's finally been sacked.
Oxford.
Did you not know this?
No.
He's gone.
He had to.
Well, they lost 3-0 at home, didn't they?
Yeah.
He has actually gone now.
Right. Oh, well, thank goodness we got Bloomfield.
Exactly.
Dear, oh dear, who's going to get in? Colchester? Or are they already?
I have no idea.
Dear, oh dear, oh dear. Do you know, I mean, it's understandable. He has the last game he won was 21st of January, and then he's lost, drawn, lost. I mean, that wasn't a very good record, really, was it?
He hasn't won. He's got 1 point from the last 8 games. So.
Yeah,
he's been there 5 years apparently.
Yeah, the problem with him, I think, was it was always going to be good next week because we're playing the right style of football, and if we keep this up, then it can only win. When in fact it never has. He's never won.
No, most managers don't though, do they?
No, most managers don't. No. Did I give you Ainsworth's figures just out of interest?
No,
I didn't, did I? He's games in charge, 550 exactly for Wycombe. 550. He won 219 of them. He drew 137 and he lost 194. That win rate is 40%. And when you think we were in the Championship getting thrashed every game for a year, imagine if we hadn't been that, it would have been more like 44%. Which is very good. Sorry?
Is that the only relegation we had with Ainsworth?
Yeah.
Did we get relegated from League One to Two with him? I don't think we did we?
No, I don't think so.
No, so we've had 2 promotions and 1 relegation with him in the 10 years. It feels like more, to be fair, doesn't it? But then we've been in like 2 playoff finals with him.
Yeah.
We got out of that relegation battle back in 2014 or whenever it was.
Yeah. Been a ride.
FA Cup games. FA Cup games against Spurs and Aston Villa.
City.
That one didn't go so well, but
No. So it's been a ride, and good luck to him. I shall look to see how he gets on. I do hope he does really well, actually. And bastard. I don't mean that. And
do you think he will get on all right?
No.
No, I don't. Because we spoke about like the players that go to Wycombe, and the best parts of their careers are at Wycombe, aren't they?
Mm.
I think it'll be exactly the same in this instance.
Mm. Yeah. The thing is, he's got to turn that round quick. There.
Yeah.
And I don't. If he'd gone at the end of the season, and he'd got the summer to look around and possibly buy a few players and get them on board with him, I would say, okay, I'd give him, but he's got to get it going quick.
Yeah.
And they're near they're what, 17th, are they? Something like that. I mean, they're not far off that bottom, are they? Going down, they're not that far away, are they?
They are.
Let's have a quick noddle.
They are currently 18th, and they are 8 points above the relegation zone. They've lost their last 4.
Yeah.
They are up there in terms of
they're only
goals.
four above the relegation. Is that what you said?
8 above relegation in terms of points.
Oh, from points, yeah. Having a played game more. Yeah.
Yeah.
So they've got Birmingham, Rotherham, and Cardiff are the other teams that look like they might stay up. I mean, those bottom 3, Wigan, Blackpool, and Huddersfield, all on 31 points. One of them surely is going to turn that round.
One of them will go on a bit of a charge, won't they? Because they always do.
Huddersfield are definitely not doing very well at the moment.
Well, none of them are.
I'm just seeing if any of them are having a bit of a turnaround at all.
Wigan have won 1 and drawn 3 in their last 5.
None of them are doing very well. So he might be all right this time.
Wigan are doing okay, I'd say. They've got 6 points out of their last 4.
Yeah.
Which is, I know, it's still not great, but it's better than most of the bottom.
Well, okay, so Mr. Oxford got the sack then. Other scores that stood out was, like I said earlier, Barnsley beating Derby 4-1. That's the one where we were hoping for a draw. Well, it definitely wasn't a draw. Of course, the thing is, had we won, had we beaten Shrewsbury, you see, we would be on 56 points, and Derby in 6th would be on 57. With the same amount of games played, we would be 1 point behind. Now, that was the game to win. And so Shrewsbury have now caught us up. Because we're 7th and they're 8th, and they're 2 points behind us, even though they played a game in 1 game more. So we've let them all catch up with that game. That was important. That game.
Blimey, you're making it sound like that's the one game that's going to define our season. You're not very forgiving, are you?
No. No, all right. So yeah, all right. But
Yes, at the moment it doesn't look brilliant.
that has made a difference. That gap between
Yes,
us and below would have still been there, but we would have finally, after the last winning the last 5 games, we would finally have caught up with a team
yes,
above us, which we haven't done, having won the last 5. And that was the opportunity, and we didn't.
no.
And so that game was, you know, yeah, well, things would have looked a lot better. Plymouth got a kicking from another team right behind us. Sorry, not Portsmouth. Peterborough beat them 5-2. I don't think Plymouth are doing great at the moment, are they? They
Um,
are they stumbling a little bit there? They've last 3 matches drawn 2. Oh, mind you, one of them was the EFL. We can't count that. So they lost that one. They drew the game beforehand with Fleetwood, and they beat Oxford, but who can't? Yeah.
it's surprising as well because I mean we beat Peterborough very, very comfortably, didn't we? And it didn't look very good when
No,
we
they
did beat
didn't.
them.
Ipswich beat MK Dons. Again, you can say who doesn't. Portsmouth thrashed Cheltenham 4-0. Forest Green got a point, got a draw. Um, Sheffield Wednesday won. Bolton won. So really, not a lot of difference, other than the Wycombe score would have made a difference, I think. But here we go. So Sheffield Wednesday are sat at the top and 71, Plymouth on 68. And then you've got the gap down to Ipswich on 63, 5 points behind that top 2. And as I say, there's still 4 points now between us and Derby, so 6th and 7th. And at the bottom, you've got Forest Green on 23, and then Cambridge 29, MK Dons 29, Accrington 31, and Morecambe have got 31 as well. And the goal difference is 1 goal. And the bad thing you could say is, in fact, Accrington have played 2 games less. And I would say that's more dangerous in that position because it means their goal difference can get worse. Yeah. And so they would end up in the relegation spot. So they've got to win them or draw them. Otherwise, their goal difference will put them down, even if they gain no points.
Indeed.
Indeed. Okay. That's that. Now let's keep that phone well out of the way of the microphone. Let's go to, we did the 5 datas last week. We've got 5 more datas this week. We're going to look at Chelsea, Manchester City, Manchester United, Southampton, and Aston Villa. Are we ready then?
United, by the way, have just won the Carabao Cup.
Yes, 2-0.
Yeah.
2-0. I knew it would.
Yeah. Newcastle would get stage fright and United would just kind of have a nice time, which apparently they did. So
Yeah, of course. It's interesting to see who they had in goal, though, wasn't it?
yeah, people tried to blame him for the second goal, but it's not his fault.
No, of course it wasn't.
No.
It was a deflection.
People just try to make a story.
Yeah, so. They just try. Yeah, story. They just kept on and on about that, didn't they?
Yeah.
Poor bloke. Well, he's earned a damn sight more money than they have over the period of time he's done nothing. So, Chelsea, they are. Do you remember me saying about the most settled team last week being Arsenal? Chelsea are the least settled team. Now, remember, this is from figures from last week, not including this week. They've played 32 different players this season. They've used the most substitutes per game, on average, which is 4.5. Here's an interesting one to add to that, and that is Thiago Silva made more forward passes than any other centre-back so far this season. So they talk about getting all the youngsters in and everything like that, but their most forward attacking player they have at the back is the oldest, a 38-year-old who was a free transfer. And I think that is quite entertaining and funny with all the players they've bought. He was a free transfer and is 38 years old. He made 500 or has made 545 forward passes. And what we mean by that is not just sort of, 1 centimetre to the guys standing next to him. We're talking about, 10 yards.
Yeah.
That way, not the sort of sideways Maguire sort of idea. And everybody's saying, "Who's Maguire?"
Maguire.
Any comments?
To be fair, a couple of things kind of linked to it. You said about Chelsea's subs. Did you see in midweek, Man City in the Champions League didn't make a sub? They win their 1-1 draw with, it was who they played, Leipzig,
wasn't it?
Yeah, they didn't actually make a sub. He kept the same team out. Name any other manager who would do that other than Pep.
Why pay millions upon millions if they're no good?
You do wonder. And then,
does he know what he's doing? Seriously, does he know what he's doing?
I think,
or do you just like the conversations about him?
Probably. Chelsea, since Bonfire Night, have scored 6 goals in 12 games in the Premier League. Pretty good. That is the worst in England, not even just the Premier League, but in England.
Didn't score again today, did they?
Didn't score again today. And they're £90 million signing Mudryk. For some reason, it's become a bit of a trend that you get called 007 if you go 7 games without a goal or assist.
Oh, is that right?
And yeah, because Sky Sports did it for Jadon Sancho. It was just so random and bizarre. They had Sancho in a suit and put the 007 banner. And so Mudryk is 1 game away from going 007.
That's good. I like that.
That's just off the top of my head as well.
Yeah. You must remind me. Yeah. Again, I like that.
Thank goodness for my new team, I have not gone 007.
Okay, here we go then. And discuss why the next case, by the way, because I think this one, Manchester City, there's loads of data you can come up with Manchester City, what they're best at and what they're not in the league. Of course you can. Pay, how many swimming pools each player owns and that sort of thing. But lots of different ones. But this is an interesting one. They have the best aerial percentage wins in the league. So they don't win the most, but for the quantity of aerial duels they have, they win the most percentage-wise. And Arsenal have the lowest. So what does that teach us? What does that tell us, Kieran? Because you could say Manchester City don't have very many, but what they do have, they win.
Sorry, what was this in relation to?
Well, anything, really. Does that tell us about the style of their football? That they only kick the ball up in the air, or rather, they don't put it up in the air because they're not very good in the air, which is why they don't have very many.
Well, they only put it in the air when they know that they're going to win it in the air.
Their centre-backs win them, which is why they don't let many goals in.
No.
Whereas Arsenal
try it too much.
Have the lowest win rate in the air because they're not very good at it in the back either.
Well, yeah, and they cross it too much up top. Or their midfielders are small.
Next, having a look. Manchester United. They've scored the most goals from fast breaks. And what fast break is the ball turnover in their own half. And then they have something like, so when they've gained the ball in their own half, they score the fastest, most goals from that situation. They don't hang
like
around.
10-15 seconds kind of thing.
Yeah, they don't hang around. They just go straight for it. Get the ball, boom, goal.
Sodding Rashford, honestly.
Is it him?
Probably. Well, I mean, you've got Rashford, Garnacho, Anthony, and you've got Fernandes and Casemiro feeding those balls through.
So their midfield are basically winning the ball back, not the defence. The midfield are winning the ball back.
Well, to be able to break that quickly, more than likely, yes.
Yeah, because they're going for it from the midfield, so they're not playing it out from the back as such, through the midfield and then to the forwards, down the sides. They're not going down the sides.
It gives them
up the centre.
Yeah, it gives them one layer of players, one layer of player less that they have to actually get through.
Exactly. And they're going direct. They're not buggering around in the corners, are they? And up the wing.
No.
So, in fact, if you want to stop them, you block that 18-yard box in front.
Yeah.
That's where you stop them.
But aren't teams becoming more about going through the centre as they are as opposed to being wingers? Aren't we singing wingers, like typical wingers, less in the game?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. Okay. That'll be our first part of the programme. Now we'll come to Southampton in just one moment. Southampton. Now I've just got to drop something in there because I've forgotten something to mention, but now I've remembered it. Getting to Southampton. Nathan Jones, before he was sacked, right? His win rate was higher than Bloomfield's. Right? I just thought I'd mention that to put it into context, all right? To how good he was. All right? I just thought I'd mention that. Anyway, Southampton. Now, this is a fascinating one. This is why Southampton are sat at the bottom, all right? We can blame all the players, how many goals they're scoring, blah, blah, blah. We can blame all this stuff. But in the end, both me and you know you need a decent goalkeeper. Well, the average expected goals per match in the Premier League is 11%. Okay, is the average across the Premier League on the day.
What's 11%?
The expected goal rate.
What, per shot?
No, sorry, I meant the average expected goal on goal shot.
So shot on target.
Shot on target is 11%, right? Southampton have the lowest save percentage by miles. Of all the goals, of all the shots on target, Mr. Goalkeeper only saves 54% of them. So you take 4 shots on target, you walk away 2-0 up.
It's pretty good, isn't it?
Now, you can't tell me that's because everybody's having better shots at Southampton than they are anybody else. The next lowest team, the next worst team is 63%. So they're miles worse at 54%. Okay. They've only had 1 clean sheet all season. I can't remember who that's against. If I had
Chelsea.
I'd say it was Tottenham because they're crap.
Chelsea.
Was it Chelsea? And that's because Chelsea didn't have any shots, probably, was it?
Well, I mean, It depends when these stats were, but that was because it was last week.
This was about 10 days ago.
You might be all right then.
The second one for them is the most aerial duels won and most aerial duels lost. So that's not percentage like Manchester City's, because they only have sort of 10 in a game and win most of them. This is the amount of duels that they have, and they win more than everybody and they lose more than everybody. That's because they have so many, because the ball spends its whole time in the air. They don't play with the ball on the ground.
Oh, yeah.
And then they let the goals in. And the last team is for today is Aston Villa. Now, of course, they're middle of everything. So finding one that they're at the best of or the worst of was very difficult. There's hardly anything you can come up with that sort of particularly tickles your fancy for Aston Villa. So I had to dig hard for this one. I got 272 fouls suffered, and that's it. But no particular player was tackled more than any other particular player. Not like sort of Zaha at sort of Crystal Palace, who gets nobbled all the time. All their players just got tackled more. Now, I wonder whether that means they don't pass the ball fast enough?
Maybe.
Could be.
Annoyingly, have you seen that Ollie Watkins has scored in each of his last 5 games?
After we put him down, saying he was the worst one ever, he's scored ever since.
Yeah.
So Matt Bloomfield is going to be a champion.
What's he doing the opposite of what you want him to be?
Yeah. If I say something this way, he's going to be that way.
Well, so you want
said he's rubbish, he means he's going to be good.
You've just called him a champion. It means you want him to be crap.
No, he's going to be rubbish. Okay, moving on then. Is there anything you want to say about any of those? Any of those find interesting? No. Okay.
I added my comments.
Have to mention now, Kieran scored the winning goal with a bullet header at the weekend. Kieran, would you like to talk us through the goal?
Well, if only it was actually a bullet. So I've been put right wing for my new team on a Saturday, which is an interesting decision considering my lack of pace and my lack of being able to move these days due to my size. And yeah, I've got more chances in this game. I think I've had in quite a while. I had about 3 or 4 chances.
Is that what you're saying?
They got blocks. Let's say that.
Okay.
Because of course it's Sunday League and everyone just puts their bodies in random positions where they're not supposed to be. But it was a counter attack. I somehow managed to make my way into the box, and the cross comes in. It's quite low down, and so I have to dip my head, and it kind of loops up and over into the top right hand corner. Absolutely no chance for the keeper. It's an unbelievable header.
Yeah.
And everyone on the bench was confused because they didn't realise the goal went in because I didn't celebrate whatsoever, and neither did any of my teammates. The only person who came over to me was the person who crossed it in. Everyone else walked back to the halfway line. So
they not love you. They don't love you.
Apparently not.
Did you not do one of those on the knee jobs?
I didn't. No. I did literally just walk back to the halfway line as if I'd committed a crime or something. It was kind of like the postmen don't celebrate delivering the post. That was kind of my interpretation of me scoring this goal.
And what's the name of your team, just to have interest?
Leigh Park, spelled Leigh. Leigh Park.
Okay.
I was buzzing with it, but I just wanted to look cool.
And where are you in the league? Where are you in the league?
3rd out of 9.
Okay. So,
And we're playing top of the league next week. So,
right.
I won't be there because I'll be with you, won't I? Because it's your solemn birthday. Oh, well. Your 60th is getting in the way of our title charge.
Yeah, it was ruining my day as well. Okay.
Oh, well.
Okay. I think we've covered everything now, bar our predictions.
Did it go well?
I don't know why we do this. I really don't. All it does is prove we know absolutely bugger all, really. That's all it does. I don't know whether anybody else does this every week with us or even has a go just once, to see how they get on with us. Okay, Kieran, keeping your phone away from your microphone then. We start, I think it was Friday. I got Fulham against somebody. Wolves,
wasn't it?
Yeah. You predicted 2-2 draw. I predicted 2-0 win to Fulham. It was a draw, but both of us got the score wrong.
I get a point. Yeah.
You get a point. The next game, which was on Saturday, yesterday, or the day after, or whatever, was Everton versus Aston Villa. You put 2-1 to Everton, and I put 1-0 to Aston Villa. So I get 1 point. If you want to talk about any of these games,
Everton, I think, might be in trouble. Ever since they beat Arsenal, they have severely struggled. They as well have only scored 6 goals since Bonfire Night.
Why Bonfire Night?
Yeah, I don't know. It was just a stat they gave on Twitter. But yeah, I think they're in deep trouble even with Dyche.
Leeds finally won a game. You put 3-2 to Leeds, and I put 1-1 Leeds. That was versus Southampton. So you get a point. Admittedly, there weren't 5 goals in the game.
Not quite.
So you get a point. Are Leeds on their way back, or was it just because they played Southampton?
I think more because they played Southampton. Quite honestly, if you're not being Southampton, there's something going wrong. Southampton got their new manager this week, though. Selez. No idea who he is. And I don't think they're going to stay up. But that's not a surprise, is it, really?
Not really, no.
Their team looks...
Sorry?
I don't know who anyone is anymore. Southampton. What?
What? You froze.
Oh, did I?
Right.
Oh, sorry. I was just saying Southampton's team looks awful. Sorry.
Okay. Moving on then. So that was 1 point to you. Was it?
Yes.
Yes. Right. Next one was Leicester 0, Arsenal 1. Well, we both put down for Arsenal to win. You put 3-1 and I put 2-0. I watched that. Arsenal deserved that game by miles.
I know a stat about that game as well. Leicester produced the lowest XG ever in a game that they've recorded.
Really?
I think it was 0.0. I think they had one shot from like 30 yards out. That was the only thing that gave them anything.
Blimey.
There you go.
Okay. Well, I was right then. Arsenal did deserve to win it.
Yes.
Yeah. What I like about Arsenal is these are the games they would have drawn previous, but they did have to dig that one out a bit. They were finding it difficult to score, but they sort of dug that one out, which is good. West Ham, did we see this one coming? West Ham 4, Nottingham Forest 0. No, you didn't, because you said Nottingham Forest would win 2-1. You definitely didn't see it coming. I did put 1-0 to West Ham, so I get a point. Couldn't see that coming, could you?
I mean, in all fairness, they did score 4 goals in the 15-minute periods towards the end of the game.
Oh, well, in that case.
I'm not sure anyone saw it coming. Does it mean West Ham are back? No, because they scored 4 goals in very, very quick succession. Evidently, Nottingham Forest for some bizarre reason gave up. So, yeah, big up David Moyes.
The next game, of course, Bournemouth won, Manchester City 4. We both, of course, had Manchester City winning, so we both get a point. You put 3-0, I put 3-1. So can I get extra for being nearer? The trouble is, I started to watch that, and as soon as the first goal went in, I turned it off and did something more sensible with my time. Pointless. Different league to Bournemouth, I'm afraid. Bournemouth are playing Championship football in the Premier League.
Yeah. They're not a Premier League team, unfortunately.
If they don't go down this year, they will next.
Yeah.
Crystal Palace 0, Liverpool 0. We both had it down for a Liverpool win, so neither of us get a point. I watched that. Did you watch that?
Yeah, it was a good use of my Saturday evening, that.
I thought it was a good game. If it was anybody else other than Liverpool, I would have been quite happy. I thought they both deserved a point, and I thought it was a good game. I thought Salah wastes. Salah selfish.
Yeah.
I think it's time to take him off and teach him a lesson.
I just miss Diaz. I really do.
Yeah.
I now realise that Diaz was bought to be Mane's replacement because of his energetic style and all that sort of thing. And when he's not there, and when Nunez isn't there, it's just so dead.
What about the other guy, Gakpo or whatever his name is?
Gakpo.
Yeah.
You wonder
bought him.
Why.
You chose to buy him.
Well, his stats
of all
good.
The footballers in all the world, to be honest.
I mean, his stats are good in terms of goals and assists and stuff. But we've been always very good at buying players who suit us. What is there about him to suggest that he'd suit Liverpool's style?
I don't know.
If our front three going forwards, like the ones we bought recently, were Diaz, Nunez, and Gakpo. Diaz and Nunez, yes, they evidently was going assistant. I don't see how Gakpo fits in there at all. But in Jurgen, we trust. Trust what? I don't know, but we do trust.
So it's a bit strange. I don't know why they ever bought him, but there you go. Whatever.
It's just 40 mil.
And the last game was Tottenham 2, Chelsea 0. You put 1-1 and I put 1-0 to Tottenham. So I get 5 points and you get 3.
So you extend your lead.
Yeah. So I think I'm something like about 4 points in front of you now. Can't remember. It's on the bottom of the thing that we're writing. I don't have the other sheet with it written on somewhere. I don't want to move anything too close to the microphone. So, but that's all out of all those games. That was 8 games. We got, at least I got 5 winners right, or at least 5, but you only got 3 out of 8. You got less than half of the winners right.
Sorry, mate. I do apologise. Try my best.
Okay, very quick then. We got starting on.
Start from next Saturday. Don't do the midweek games.
You don't want to do Liverpool Wolves.
I'm not too fussed, mate. No, don't worry.
Well, that's so easy because we know who's going to win that one.
Yeah, we do, don't we?
So you want to start on March the 4th?
Yeah. It makes sense just through the weekend games.
Okay. Sorry, there was another screen came up. Newcastle. Okay, that's where we're starting. Are you ready to bomb through this, Kieran?
Yes,
Got them in front of you.
Yes, lads.
Okay, Manchester City, Newcastle.
2-1 Newcastle.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they'll bounce back.
I'll put 2-0 Newcastle, 2-0 to Manchester City.
Never
Arsenal, Bournemouth.
4-0 Arsenal.
I'll put 2-0 to Arsenal. Aston Villa, Crystal Palace.
2-3. Palace will win 3-2.
2-3. You think Crystal Palace is going to win that?
Yeah.
Put 1-1.
I back them.
Brighton, West Ham.
2-1.
Well, I think West Ham will be on a run now. I'm putting 2-0 to West Ham. Crystal Palace. What did I say that for? Chelsea, Leeds. Oh my lord, who wants to watch that?
I almost don't want to say, to be honest. 1-0 Leeds.
I was going to say you've got to start with nil for Chelsea, haven't you? That's the first thing. And do you know, I'm going to put 1-0 as well. It's the first time I've copied you, but I don't know what else to put. Is the honest truth. If it's not that, I'm going to put a little star next to that, saying if we don't get that right, we should both just bugger off and never talk about football ever again. What do you think?
Blimey.
No, of course we won't.
I'm sure people enjoy that, actually.
Wolves, Tottenham.
1-0.
I'm putting 1-0 to Wolves. And Southampton, Leicester. Oh, there's some shocking games on next week. Southampton, Leicester.
0-3.
What, you think Leicester are going to score 3 goals?
They've beaten them 9-0 recently. So
I'm putting 0-0. Okay.
Wow.
And then, of course, we've got Sundays, which is far more entertaining. You got Nottingham Forest, Everton.
2-2.
I'm putting 1-0 to Nottingham Forest. And the last fun game, Kieran, is Liverpool, Manchester United. Funny facial expression. This is where we got to have a chat afterwards. And this is normally really the sort of game where we don't talk to Kieran for 2 days. Just
2-0 Liverpool.
Yeah, I was going to say that. I think Liverpool are going to win this, but I think it might be a bit more of a scrape. I'm going to put Rashford's going to score 1-1. No, 2-1. 2-1 to Liverpool. Let's live in hope, shall we, Kieran? Let's live in hope. Let's dream. Dream. And just out of interest, honestly, what do you think Wycombe are going to do against Exeter?
We at home. 2-0 Wycombe. I back it at home. I don't back it as much away. I back it at home, though.
I think that'd be a draw. 1-1. That'd be interesting.
We're doing that as well,
that as part of our game, but we'll just see. We'll just see. Okay. Anything else you want to talk about? What about Newcastle, Liverpool? Pleased? Newcastle, Man United today. Pleased?
Pleased is the wrong word. Expected.
Yeah.
I would have been nice if it was a bit more of a game if Newcastle actually scored. I feel a bit sorry for their fans because they've waited
I know.
Isn't it 60 years without a trophy or something?
Well, that's it. That's what your mum said to me. Who's going to win? I said Manchester United. I don't know what she asked me, judging by our scores, but I said, yeah, Manchester United are going to win this without any question of a doubt. And I said, but in this case, I wanted Newcastle to win. I think in a year or two, I probably won't want them to ever win anything, a bit like City. But they've waited so long, some of these fans, and they are good football fans, aren't they?
Yeah.
Not like me, who wants to move away from Wycombe.
Oh, yeah. The problem is that it's been a while, but United are actually back, aren't they?
They are. And I think that's fun, actually, in the Premier League. I'm pleased. I am, seriously. You've got name, right, who's better than who? Manchester United, Manchester City, and Arsenal. At the moment, they're all really in a pot, aren't they?
Yes.
I mean, difficult to pick a winner out of those. But you've also got on the side having a rough time this season, but will be back, will be Liverpool, Chelsea, and Newcastle will come up that little league.
Yeah.
Any others?
Like Spurs are normally hang around.
They will come back. They will be difficult. And isn't that fun?
It is fun. But I'm assuming we're still keeping the tradition of hating United and not wanting them to win.
Oh, I don't want them to win, but I do want them to be a competition. I want a competition in the Premier League.
Fine.
Otherwise, it's pointless.
That's
what we've got that others don't have.
Yeah.
That's why Scottish football is a waste of pace. It's why Italian football is there's no competition in any of the other leagues. They might have one team, but we usually have at least three going for it. Yeah. And for the last couple of years, we've only had two going for it. Well, I want a third.
That's fair.
Every year. I want three teams out of that group to go for it every year, to make it a competition. And I don't want the others to fade and not come back. I want them all to come back, but different times. I want it a competition.
Yeah.
It's what sells the Premier League.
Hmm.
And when Manchester City get all their deducted points and thrown out of Europe, I won't laugh. Okay. Have you got anything else to say?
I don't think so.
You don't think so? Well, thank you to the goal scorer, the bullet header boy. Good luck to Bloomfield. Yeah, he might sign you up. You never know. Because Wycombe will, because it's just based on where you live, really, as far as I can work out. Not on your quality. And yeah, we'll say goodbye then, and we'll see you all next week. Another 5 interesting data facts, and you'll see how well me and Kieran have improved in our results. And I would eat my words. I tell you what, if we do well, I'll have to eat my words. Goodbye, Kieran.
That's the worst thing I've ever done. Goodbye.
In the space I feel in the haze, I'm not alone. In the edge, in the heel, in the fever, not alone. And that's where the angel bends with the closed eyes, united.